So, we start out this Elliotte Friedman Vancouver Canucks related commentary by talking about the defense. Because yesterday, this is what we saw out there on the ice with no Quinn Hughes, no Derek Forbort, and inevitably, no Victor Mancini because he also got hurt at the end of the second period as well. We didn't talk about that at all in any of the previous few videos. That's my bad. And there was a bit of an update after the game yesterday. Victor Mancini still being evaluated, and the club doesn't have a firm timeline yet. Okay, that happened last night. Unfortunately, we still don't seem to know what the situation is here with Victor and his health. But ultimately, we have ourselves some more Vancouver Canucks related news and notes to go into from today's 32 Thoughts podcast. This was posted earlier this morning. And of course, everybody knows Friedman, Bukauskas, 32 Thoughts. They go out there and talk about a bunch of NHL related stories. And we had ourselves Canucks news summaries with the big summary on Friedman's 32 Thoughts today, because there are a bunch of Vancouver Canucks related things. So once again, big shout out over to Canucks news summaries for always going out there and providing us with the written format of what's talked about on these broadcasts and radio shows. It's very useful for all of us who want to be able to just read it, have it on the screen, instead of having to listen to it. Because, 32 Thoughts is a copyrighted podcast. I can't just copy and paste the audio and put it here into my videos. So this is what Friedman and Bukauskas go out there and talk about in regards to, firstly, Kiefer Sherwood. The Vancouver Canucks are weighing whether to re-sign him. Teams tend to look at negative outcomes over positive ones. And from the Vancouver Canucks perspective, the extension to Dakota Joshua didn't go well. Now, Friedman does point out that a big part of that was his health. Yeah, the guy had cancer, so what are you going to do? But then Friedge counters that the Canucks have extended Garland, and he hasn't lost any edge or energy. Speculation was also that Kiefer Sherwood was the guy on the hot mic against the Montreal Canadiens, which if you didn't see, word goes around quickly, but it seems like maybe it was Kiefer Sherwood yelling to Juraj Slafkovsky, "You keep running your mouth, I'm going to take you out of the effing Olympics. Taking you out of the effing Olympics." Like, something like that. I don't know. Kiefer Sherwood's 30 years old. Juraj Slafkovsky's a lot younger. But still, Sherwood, what an absolute gamer this guy is. He's worked himself up from the weirdest and just most low-key profile from the USHL to Miami University, Ohio, to becoming a total AHL guy that worked his way up and became a Nashville Predator full-time, then had a stellar season with the Vancouver Canucks upon signing there in free agency, and then he had himself the season he's having now. 6 goals in 10 games played, and 2 goals last night against the Edmonton Oilers. He scores in bunches, that Kiefer Sherwood. A goal in the first game of the year, 2 goals against St. Louis, a goal in Washington, and then 2 goals against the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, maybe pass the puck once in a while, Kiefer, because having 0 assists so far on the year is not the most sustainable thing in the world. But Kiefer Sherwood has been very good, and his contract, $1.5 million a year, it does expire at the end of this season. You got folks like Rick Dhaliwal going out there and talking about Sherwood, whether or not he's actually going to re-sign. Does his number start with a 4? Is he a $5 million something AAV player? He's 30, and the cap's going up, and he's providing a lot of goal support. So this could very well be a guy that gets maybe 4.5 something million bucks on his next deal. Question is it going to be with the Vancouver Canucks? Now, the Dakota Joshua thing, I get it. If Vancouver is thinking about Joshua as a negative, that might impact the way they view Sherwood re-signing, but at the same time, I think that Sherwood is a lot more pacey, and he plays with a lot more bite than Dakota Joshua does. And that's not to say that Joshua was soft. Nah, he was a physical specimen of a guy. He was a total wrecking ball when he went out there, and he was good. But I think Dakota Joshua versus Kiefer Sherwood. Sherwood is a lot more no-nonsense than Joshua, And ultimately, the cancer really did mess up with Joshua's progression in the summer last year. So that was, of course, a very unfortunate situation. But let's go back over and read some of the other notes here from Elliotte Friedman. In regards to Nazem Kadri, his no-move clause has changed to a 13-team no-trade clause, and teams are trying to figure out if they're on the list. That is, of course, something that Vancouver will have to pay attention to as well, whether or not Nazem Kadri would be okay with going to the Vancouver Canucks. Now, for what it's worth, you had this tweet posted by Rick Dhaliwal. For those asking, I have been told the Canucks are not on Nazem Kadri's no-trade list, so that's what Elliotte Friedman's talking about in regards to what the Canucks are worrying about. Dhaliwal's saying the Canucks shouldn't worry about it because apparently Kadri can get traded to Vancouver scot-free. So, yeah, that'll be really interesting to pay attention to. Nazem Kadri, we already spoke about him and the idea of getting traded to Montreal earlier in today's show. So, yeah, do we want to double dip? I don't know. We're already doing that. I don't think we need to dive into an entire conversation about Nazem Kadri at this time. Especially because there's a whole bunch of conversation on the next guy. Take a look at this. Pavel Zacha. Elliotte Friedman calls Rick Dhaliwal a grinder in regards to getting information and snooping around, trying to get the scoop. And Friedman mentions that Dhaliwal had a report on the Canucks calling on Zacha. Elliotte believes the Canucks have been talking to the Bruins about Zacha all summer, and they're going back and forth. Boston doesn't look like they're in a rush. Everyone is looking for centers. Other teams have called on Zacha, but they won't trade him unless the team meets their asking price. The Canucks are not on Zacha's no-trade list, and Friedman has privately told people that Zacha blocked a trade to the Jets, but he's also been told that is false. So, okay. Seems like Pavel Zacha might have gotten tossed around in trade conversations earlier, maybe to Winnipeg, maybe not. It's kind of interesting. The Winnipeg Jets are a pretty good team, and they've got themselves some pretty good guys over the past few years. Gabe Vilardi, Pierre-Luc Dubois. Heck, you could even say Sean Monahan, even. But Pavel Zacha would have been on their radar, and for whatever reason, a trade of Zacha over to the Jets didn't go through, either due to his own volition or because of something else. But Friedman is saying here that the Canucks and Bruins are going back and forth on Pavel Zacha. Boston, though, not in a rush, especially with the way they have started out their season so far. I mean, yeah, this is not great, but look at the points. Take a look at that. 9 points in 10 games. Pavel Zacha is doing pretty well, and there are a number of guys in Boston that are kind of exhibiting success here. I don't want to make it seem like it's a terrible year for them, but if they want to wait it out a little bit, drag it on, see what they can do, I wouldn't be surprised. That's kind of like the motto for teams that are in this rough territory of having some hope and then having it taken away and then wanting to see what they could do still when they get a little bit of hope back. But yeah, it's been a weird season for the Boston Bruins. Pavel Zacha's been doing all right, but Elliotte Friedman's saying that Vancouver, they're still hot on Boston's tail trying to get this guy. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How does that make you feel? What are your thoughts on the Kiefer Sherwood extension talk, Nazem Kadri, and Pavel Zacha? Elliotte Friedman talks about it all in 32 Thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button's there for you as well. The comment section is your floor because comments help out with the algorithm. I'd really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.